Hello friends and Happy New Year. Hope 2022 is treating you well. It's early, but let's hope 2022 is a good one. So for those of you who are new here, my name is Steve and this is Steve Talks Books. I talk about books and I do like to read dark fantasy and horror, primarily read that, but I read a little bit of everything, so I'm not opposed to reading anything that looks interesting, but it's mainly dark fantasy and horror lately. That's pretty much my go-to for the most part. I also like to talk to people. I like to hear their stories. I like to hear what their experiences, what they've learned, their failures, what they've learned from their failures, just kind of things that they've learned and been through. And I just like to talk to people. I learn a ton of things when I talk to people. I like to kind of just get a better understanding of where people are coming from. That's why you see so many conversation videos on the channel. And it's just one of the things that I really love about being on BookTube. So let's get into what I was reading last week. Last week I did finish Flesh Rehearsal by Brian Bowyer. It is an extreme horror story, and I'm a big fan of Brian's writing style. It's really easy, it flows really easy, and they're really quick reads. And these stories are just off the wall. And I don't know if for those of you who have heard me talk about Brian's writing style before or seen my reviews of his other books, his the way that he describes the horror and the violence and these terrible things that happen to his characters, in a lot of movies and books, you kind of get prepared for these really awful things that happen to characters. Like you kind of get this build up, or you get, and this is the last time she saw Michael or whatever, and you're like, oh, Michael's screwed. Not so in Brian's books. These things just come out of nowhere. These awful things happen, and it's just like, boom, this happens, and you're like, wow, that was fast. This awful stuff happened. Did not see that coming. But I love Brian's writing style. I really enjoyed Flesh Rehearsal. It's a great extreme horror story. It's not for everyone, of course, because it's an extreme horror book. But if you're into that sort of thing, check it out, or check out one of his other books. The guy's a machine. He's pumping out books like crazy. He has another book coming out soon. It may be available now as you're watching this for Road Narrows, so keep your eyes peeled for that on Amazon. I also finished Shade by Chad Nicholas. We're having a meet up with Chad this week coming up to discuss it. Chad also has a style that's really easy to... I flew through this book. I mean, it was just... before you know it, I started reading it, and then I looked at the Kindle, and I was like 20% in. It's like, wow, I'm already 20% in. I thought it was a mistake. I can't be 20% in this book already. It's only been like 30 minutes or whatever. But it just really quick. I mean, his stories just flow. And his books have a lot of twists and turns. If you've read Nightmare, you have an idea what I'm talking about. But Shade is another one that a lot of twists and turns and things you don't see coming. It is very action-packed. Shade it has a lot of action in it. Very cinematic. It's almost like reading a movie. It's lots of action scenes and lots of twists and turns and stuff I didn't see coming. So that's always fun when that happens, when you're reading something, and those surprises are lots of fun. And I'm always trying to figure things out. I'm always trying to think, well, here's the story is about two FBI agents who are trying to locate a serial killer, and you're trying to figure out, okay, these are the suspects. What are we missing? We don't have any leads. Who's killing these people? And these two FBI agents are on the trail of the serial killer. They're trying to figure out who it is. And it's like this cat and mouse game. So you're trying to figure out the people that, they're suspects, who they're talking to, holes in their stories, things like that. You're trying to figure out, okay, who is the killer? What's going on? So I'm always trying to figure out what the twist is going to be. And Chad always throws me for a loop. I can never see it coming. So another fun read from Chad Nicholas. And this week I'll be reading Stone and Shield by Thomas J. Devins. We are having a meet up next weekend to discuss the first book in the Fall of Emrose. That is a fantasy book that I'll be reading here this week. I'm going to start it today, and I'm recording this on Saturday, so starting it today. And also I'll be reading City of Blood. It's the next book in the Nightmareland Chronicles. We'll be having a meet up with Daniel Barnett next week to discuss City of Blood, and more about that in a minute. So last week on the channel, we did have a discussion with Catherine Silva about her book, The Wild Dark. The Wild Dark is another book that spans many different genres. It's horror, it's fantasy, it's It's like a drama. It's a mystery. It's a bunch of different things happening in that book, and there's a lot to dissect. So we did have a discussion with Catherine about the book. We did the first 14 minutes of that video are non-spoilery talk, and then we do get deep into spoilers. And The Wild Dark is one of those books that you don't want to be spoiled on. Don't ruin the experience for yourself. Go read the book, enjoy it, and come back and then watch the rest of that video. Don't spoil yourself. Don't ruin the experience for yourself. On Thursday night, Leslie from The Nerdy Narrative and I chatted with Brian Bowyer about his book Flesh Rehearsal and some other books he has coming up. We were picking his brain on some theories we had about the story from Flesh Rehearsal. There is a section in there with spoiler chat, and I did add chapter notes for those, so avoid spoilers if you haven't already read that book. But we talked a lot about his upcoming books. Road and Arrows is coming out pretty soon. He has another book coming in April, a vampire book. So I do hope to have Brian back to talk Road and Arrows here in a little bit, and also in April about his vampire book. And I'm hoping that my friend Nicole Eisner, the author of Beguiled by Night, can join us for that one, because she's a vampire expert. So it'd be really cool to get those all of them together to talk about Brian's vampire book and vampires and Brian's writing style. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does with vampires. So fingers crossed all that works out. Sometimes these meetups are we have to plan them way ahead of time because of work schedules or whatever it may be. So sometimes, these are planned. I think we had this one planned for over a month. So sometimes it takes, a while to get these planned and get them set up. So I'm hoping we can make that work. The week coming on the channel is very busy. I have a lot of stuff this week on the channel. It's going to be one of those weeks, maybe the busiest week I've had in a while. So the week starts with an author conversation with Kyle Winkler on Monday. I'll be talking with Kyle Winkler about his book Oh Pain and writing and whatever else may come up. So if you have any questions for Kyle, please leave them down below in the comments. On Tuesday, I have an author conversation with Noel Zamot. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name incorrectly, Noel, but I'll be chatting with him about writing, about publishing, and he's a mountain biker, so I hope we can get into some mountain biking talk after we talk books and stuff. Then on Wednesday, we have a meetup with Chad Nicholas to discuss Shade. And Shade is another one of those books that you don't want to spoil yourself on. And something I've thought about when we did the Wild Dark discussion is we did it pre-recorded. Because I've come in, especially in mobile, because sometimes you open your phone and you open the YouTube app, and if there's a live stream going on, sometimes you can accidentally get spoiled without meaning to get spoiled on something. And I'm really picky about spoilers. So I think the discussions we'll have with books like Shade or with the Wild Dark, I think we'll do it. We won't do a live stream. We'll record the video and then I'll release it after with chapter notes. So I don't want to spoil the experience for anyone. And I think those types of discussions are better pre-recorded. That way I can let everyone know, hey, there's spoilers at this point in the video. Avoid those and you can watch the non-spoiler section. And let me know what your thoughts on that are. If you'd rather these spoilery discussions be a live stream or something that's pre-recorded, so that way you can avoid spoiling yourself on it. I think I'm gonna start making that into a regular thing where it's not a live stream. Then on Friday, the 7th, Friday Conversations return. I will be chatting with Beverly Bambury. So looking forward to that one. Then on Saturday, we'll be discussing City of Blood with author Daniel Barnett. It's the next book in the Nightmareland Chronicles. Our forum is having a group read, and we've been discussing each book with Daniel every 2 weeks. We skipped this weekend because of the holiday, but we're back on track next week, and then we'll have reading sprints that night for Lily, because we all received a copy of Lily, the 6th book in the Nightmareland Chronicles. So we'll start a group. We'll start reading that. We'll kick that off with some reading sprints that evening. Before the reading sprints and after the City of Blood discussion, in between there, we'll be chatting with Thomas J. Devins about his book Stone and Shield. Looking forward to that one. That should be another fun discussion. I'm looking forward to chatting with Thomas again. He was a lot of fun to chat with on the Friday conversation. Then, on Sunday morning, I'm having a conversation with Simon Paul Wilson and Matt Wilderson. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, Matt. I'm sorry if I did. to discuss their collaboration. They collaborated on a book called Baggage. So we'll be chatting with them to talk about the book, what went into it, learning more about baggage, and picking their brains. I did have a conversation with Simon Paul Wilson about 2 months ago, and it was just a lot of fun to chat with him. He was one of those people you can just really chat. You can just easy to talk to, really fun conversation. So check that out if you haven't already. That should be live on Sunday, that conversation for Baggage. So last week I started announcing new books that were coming up or recently released, just to help get the word out for books that are upcoming, because I can't read all of them as ARCs and help get reviews out and things like that. So I thought it would be a fun thing to announce books that are coming up, so those of you who are watching can kind of get a heads up on what to expect. And this week I'm very excited because we have 2 books to announce this week, and for both people from the community. So I was really excited to have the chance to help spread the word and let everyone know that these 2 books are coming up. So the first book is from our friend Prescilla Bettis, and she is a constant commenter. She's a big supporter on BookTube. She doesn't have a channel, but she is a writer, and she is always supporting channels. She's always commenting, just a huge supporter. So I'm really happy to have a chance to return the favor to Prescilla. So let's talk first about Priscilla's book coming up. It is a novelette coming out on January 10th. It is available for pre-order now for 99 cents on Amazon, and it will be available on Kindle Unlimited on January 10th. And it is described as contemporary Southern Gothic meets weird horror. So I am pre-ordering my copy. I hope you will too. For 99 cents, you can't go wrong. So check it out, or wait for the Kindle Unlimited version to be available on January 10th. I will add all the details down below. But I'm really super happy to be the first, have the first chance to tell everyone about it, be the first advertisement for Priscilla's book. So I'm really, really excited. I'm thankful for the opportunity to tell everyone about the book. So the next book I want to tell you about is from none other than Jeremy Fee, booktuber Jeremy Fee. Yeah, that Jeremy Fee. He has a book out. Go check it out. It's available now. It was released on December 28th. So go pick it up. I'm going to go get my copy right after I'm done with this. It is called Eclectic Nightmares, Spoken Word Poetry. So from the back of the book, let's read the synopsis. From sensational sound devices to strange stories, from horrific self-hate to whimsical satire, this poetry collection includes 32 nightmares of eclectic nature. The verse arrives via 4 divisions: introduction to the poet, horror poetry, fantasy poetry, and teacher poetry. There are notes from the author detailing his inspirations. Jeremy Fee is a poet and an author of speculative fiction. You can find him online via his multiple social media accounts. So I'll leave Jeremy's channel down below and also the links to the book. Go check it out. I'm super happy to be announcing both of these books. It makes me really happy to help people who help me and who support me, and just who are friends here on BookTube. To be able to help them out is a great, great feeling for me. So thank you both, Priscilla and Jeremy, for giving me the opportunity to tell more people about your work so more people can go read it and enjoy it. So tell me about your week. How did you spend New Year's Eve? How have things been going? I, for one, although I like Christmas, I like the giving presents and all that kind of stuff. I'm glad the holidays are over. I'm ready to move on and just get back to normal operation. It's been kind of a rough holiday season, but it's kind of feel like we're turning a corner, so that's always good. So for New Year's Eve for us, we just stayed home, hung out. We played some Magic the Gathering, and our friend Charles, he's from Iowa, and he makes the best pozole that I've ever had. It's funny because he didn't grow up here. He just kind of moved here, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, and he makes the best pozole I've ever had. And I hope my grandma doesn't watch this because she might be upset with me, but it is the best pozole, and he makes it every year. It's a tradition that we hassle him until he makes it. It is really, really good, and it's one of those things that's always something to look forward to every year. So it was a pretty quiet night. We just hung out, played Magic, drank some whiskey, and our friend Kyle, he came over, he lives right next door in another house, so he just had to walk home. So everyone's safe, everyone's being smart and safe, so that's always good. So how did you spend your New Year's Eve? Did you go out? Did you stay home? Did you read? Did you make it to midnight? Now that I work like more regular hours, I used to work nights. Now that I work days, I get tired at like 10 o'clock at night. So staying up after midnight it's harder than it used to be. But we stayed up playing until I think we finally called it like 3 in the morning or something crazy like that. So it was fun. You know, you have to celebrate these kind of moments because you never know what can happen. So you have to cherish those moments with friends and people around you. And my dogs didn't have such a good night because all the fireworks and the noises and the popping and all that. So they had kind of a rough night. They didn't enjoy it too much, but they're back to normal now. They're a little skittish this morning, but they're loosening up now. Also, you may have noticed I changed the channel name to just Steve Talks Books. I got rid of the and stuff at the end. I'm not a big analytics person. I try not to look into the analytics and the algorithms and all that stuff. I try to avoid that stuff. But I have been looking into how it works, and after talking with Mike's book reviews, we talked a little bit about channel growth and kind of staying on brand and things like that, and it kind of got my brain thinking. And while I do like to talk movies and TV shows and stuff, they don't really do that well on the channel. And I've thought about creating a second channel for movie stuff, kind of like Steve Talks Movies or something. So I might do that eventually. In the meantime, I still want to do some movie and TV stuff that's book related, but the other stuff I think I'll have to do on another channel if I ever decide to do that. And I do have a really great collaboration coming up that will be announced soon. So that's coming in the next couple weeks. We'll have some announcements to make on that. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be an outlet for me to talk about movies and other things like that other than books. Also, yesterday I posted the video for Short Story Saturday. The book this month is Oh Pain by Kyle Winkler. So that's the book of the month. And then at the end of the month, we'll come and discuss each story and possibly have the author on. Not sure if it'll work out always, but we'll have the last Saturday of the month will be the day that we discuss it. So, of course, if you'd like to participate on stream, join our forum. All the events are there. Any of the events I talk about, they're all there on the forum. Just join the forum if you aren't already there. You can RSVP for the events. That's where we post all the links for StreamYard to join the discussions, or the YouTube links for stuff that's not live streamed. You can still watch the video on YouTube if you want to just participate in the chat and don't want to be on camera. That's cool too. The forum is the best place to find me. If you're looking for me to connect with me, it's the best place. I'm there more than anywhere else. Just we have a small but tightly knit community, and that's what I enjoy. And we talk games, books, movies, everything there. That's kind of where I've been spending most of my time. I do also have a Vero account, and not a lot of people use Vero, but it's a really great platform. I love it there. There's no algorithm, there's no ads, and it's just a relaxing, fun place to go. I don't know, it has a different feeling than the other platforms. So speaking of the other platforms, I'm also on Twitter at Steve Talks Books, and I've made some really great connections on Twitter, but I'm trying to use Twitter less and less because it can be a very negative place, and it starts to get to you. And if you've experienced this too, let me know. With certain platforms, it starts to eat at you, and you have to take a step back and say, okay, I need a little bit of some distance there. I need to get a little break. So I'm trying to use Twitter less and less. For all these really long discussions I have, you can also find them on the podcast if you'd like to listen to audio. It is free. You don't have to pay for it. You just go to the Buzzsprout site down below. You can download the file directly there, or you can pick your platform of choice like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and some other ones I can't remember because there's too many of them. But they're all there if you'd like to listen to these discussions rather than watch on YouTube. Makes it a little bit easier to absorb that stuff. I do put some time into that, so if hopefully it seems like it's getting a pretty decent reception. So thanks to all of you who are supporting the audio podcast. So let me know how your week is going. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? We did finish The Witcher Season 2 last week. I wanted to do a Witcher 2 meetup to discuss The Witcher TV show, but things kind of fell through, and we didn't get to plan it correctly. So if anyone's interested, I'm down to talk Witcher with anyone. Let me know if you're interested in that. We can always collaborate on the forum and get that going. And our kids have been wanting to watch the new Matrix movie. And we started the trilogy a while back, but I think it was kind of over their heads. So we're starting to watch the first original trilogy, and then we're going to watch the new Matrix movie. I'm not too optimistic about the new Matrix movie, but we'll give it a try. So we've been watching that this week with the family. So let me know what you're doing. How is it going for you? What are you watching? Like I said, let me know. I like to interact and hear about what all of you are going on. And I hope you have a great new year. And thank you for coming by, for liking, commenting, subscribing, all that stuff. You know the drill. I don't have to tell you again. You hear it all the time. So thanks again, and hope you have a great week. I will talk to you soon.